All right, welcome to another episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course. And we have the one and only Carlie from New Jersey. Welcome to the show. This has been one we've been trying to get the show booked with you for months now, but we just talked about it off air that everything happens for a reason. So welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here.
Yeah, of course.
Glad we finally made it happen.
I know, right? And it's even better because we're on the 2.0 next level to the podcast since we want to get you on from the beginning. But this show's about you and your business and kind of what you're doing with technology to grow and scale and automate your business. So we're going to first start off with a little bit more about why'd you get into the business and how long you've been in the business so far?
So it's kind of a funny story. Like, I never aspired to be a realtor. I actually was an owner of an advertising agency. That's what I went to school for. And so when the economy kind of shifted a little bit and I was chasing my clients for payment and everything else, I said, there's got to be a better way to have like passive income and not stress about bills. And so I decided to go and look into real estate because my godfather had done very, very well with investing in real estate. And I said, that's the sure way to have that passive income and not have to worry about regardless of what career path I choose. So when I went out with a few realtors, I literally was like so disappointed that the fact that they were not really knowledgeable. And I'm the type of person that when I get involved in something, I have to know 100% the ins and outs. So I put myself through real estate school. And it just so happens that there was like a small mom and pop brokerage that was a client of mine. I did all their like mailings and postcard fulfillment and things of that nature. And he found out that I was going to school and he was like, well, Carlie, if you're going to get your license, why don't you just hang your license here part-time? And, you know, if you want to do your own deals, that's fine. If you want to like do a couple sales and like boost up your income, that's good too. Like whatever you want to do. So I said, okay, no problem. And that's how I got into real estate. So that was coming into like '04. So that's when the market was starting to get crazy, the 100% financing days, and new construction was like booming in Newark. So I literally, my first sale was, I was at the office, coincidentally, someone walked in, they started inquiring about new construction. They asked me if I could take them right then and there to go look at some new construction. And we went out and boom, that afternoon I got my first sale. And so I was like, this is crazy. Like, how much did I just make? Like, that's how it snowballed and became like a career. So it became like part-time, then to full-time, and then slowly but surely, like I had to dwindle my advertising clients and just close that off and just do this full-time because it just became so overwhelming and chaotic.
Wow. I love the organic approach. That's great.
Yeah. That's how everything in my life seems to unfold.
I love that. That's great when it does that too, because then it's so much more organic and natural and not forced. And I can relate to you on the lift off agent side. It's the same thing. We kind of like organically fell into where we're at today, and it's amazing how that all kind of just unfolds. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like it's meant to be.
Yeah, I agree. So getting a little bit more into your business specifically. So going in, we'll say from the last 12 months, transaction sides, what are you looking at as far as your business and team?
So this year is my first year that I joined EXP. So I'm a newbie there. And so it kind of like made me shift focus as far as like doing less transactions on my own and doing more development of my team and my downline because of all the opportunity that the company offers with that. Yeah. So building my downline and being a mentor to my agents and getting them to really scale their business has been my primary focus, especially because of everything that's transpired this year. It's just been one of these wild years that, you know, everybody kind of had to change mindsets a little bit and adjust. So as far as listings, it's been crazy. Even though we've had limited inventory, I've had probably over 50 something listings. And so what I do is I'd like to like help my team to just kind of, you know, grow and be buyers agents and things of that nature. So I'm trying to like develop a business more so than just being an agent at this point in my career.
Yeah, EXP is great, and you know it's on the stock market. I'm actually an investor, so
good. I hope you got in earlier.
I support the model. I did. It's great. You guys are growing. I think the share's up to like $40+ a share, which is awesome. And
I know, there was a week that we had like $60 a share, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
right, it's amazing. So for your team, are they more on the buy side, sell side, 50-50? What makes up your team?
So my team is a mixed bag for sure. There are some agents that are mostly buyers agents, but I'm trying to curtail them and groom them into being listing agents. So like that, they can kind of like take over that sector of the business as well.
Nice. That's fantastic. It's awesome when you get to that point. You're like, you know what? I've had some success. Let me share this success, share the wealth, scale my company, and be more of a mentor. Kudos to you. That's awesome.
Yeah. And, it's just about like really delegating and having the systems in place, and also having the help in place. I mean, without my virtual assistants, that would not have been possible, because the time you take away from doing the tedious paperwork is taking away from the time that you could be out there making connections, striking up new relationships, getting deals, things of that nature. So it's all about, shifting that mindset of not controlling everything and not doing everything yourself.
Yes.
Scalability.
Yeah, and not micromanaging every single thing. It's like, okay, here's a process, here's your KPIs, here's your standard operating procedure. Trust the process. Let's go. I love that. So
my second year, I did 500,000 gross commission, and people are like, how did you do it? I'm like, I literally had no life. Like, I worked 7 days a week, all crazy hours. There was no quality of life. I wasn't working out. I wasn't eating properly. Like, sometimes I was having one meal a day. And what's the pleasure in living like that? So I really, really realized that I had to like delegate and let go of control, and realize that it's okay. They can get it done just as well as you can. Like, they could input a listing, they could write up a contract, everything else you'll handle, but like, you have to start delegating if you want to scale this to the next level.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was something about Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank says, you got to have fun. You got to have a hobby. You got to have something you could do, whatever it is. He was like jamming on a guitar. You got to have that work-life balance. So I definitely agree. But when it comes to like your team, like, is there anything that separates your team from other teams? I see that you're big on social media. You're very transparent with everything that you do on your Instagram, which is actually behind me. But is there anything that separates you guys?
I think that our group is like very young and fresh, and we all have like out of the box ideas. And that's what kind of like sets us apart. Like, we're not your typical conservative, realtor, suit and tie, and very like, watch what you say, don't let everything out of the bag. We are just as real can be, because I feel that over the years, me being me, which allowed me to connect with customers and clients and be able to form that trust and relationship, where it's carried me through tons of referrals over the years, because they feel that they have established a friendship with me. So I get invited to christenings and birthdays and things of that nature. I've never been a salesperson type. Like, I actually can't stand those people that are pushing and like all about the commission and bottom line, the money, and so on and so forth. It's about relationships. And that's where I think that I try to really enforce into my team, like, listen, the money's going to come. The relationships will last forever. So you have to just like maybe do an open house and do something spectacular, like have a taco truck outside or something like that. Like, do something innovative that's going to set an impression and make your client feel special. And I guarantee you that client will be yours for life.
I love that. What's that quote they said? People will forget what you did, but never forget the way that you made them feel.
Yes, absolutely. For sure.
I love that. So last question on my side before Dan gets into the lightning rounds, technology. So when you first got into the business to where you're at now, was there a technology that really like you adapted to that kind of disrupted like maybe the way that you conducted business or marketed yourself?
Well, I think that for sure, social media has been like a huge boost in our business. And I really was not crazy about it. Like, when people were telling me like, oh, you should have a real estate page and you should do video. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't want to be on camera. Like, I don't want to put myself out there. But they're like, Carlie, your personality and the way you connect with people and how wild and crazy sometimes you are, like, that's what's going to get people engaged with you. And sure enough, little by little, as I started like putting my toes into the water, I started getting like feedback, and people were kind of like DMing to ask questions about this or the other. I'm like, oh shit, this actually does work. So like, the more I put out, the more I get. And it's crazy because it's like, it's almost like reality TV. The more you put out there, the more they have something to relate to you and have you as a friend in their head. And they just want to do business with you because you enjoy football, or you enjoy soccer, or you like to go out to eat all the time, or whatever the case may be. There's always something that they find to connect with you and want to do business with you. And if you just do like the real estate stuff, it's very boring and mundane. And if you look at the insights, like it's like drastically lower than this random stuff about my dog chasing a hamster or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So it's like crazy to see how it works, but it does. It's very, very effective for business.
Wow. I would have never guessed that. I was checking you on your stuff, and it's just like, you seem like a natural. And I was stalking you before the show. I think one of the stories I saw was you were amazed by how many people are asking you your height.
Yes, because I put, shorty appreciation post yesterday. And I literally, like, my phone was constantly like ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, what is going on? And all of these people are asking, like, how tall are you? How tall are you? And because I guess I appear taller in pictures, or I have really short friends. Like some of my friends are like 4'8" or whatever. And they're like, how tall are you? And I'm like, I'm 5'3".
That is awesome. I love that. That's great. Yeah, it's power of social media. It's amazing. Well,
yes, those are the type of things. Like, you just never know what's going to hit like a trigger point for someone.
Yeah, so true, so true. So I'm going to go ahead and let Dan take it off on the lightning round. I'm going to go ahead and shift the camera, and Dan, take it away.
Yeah, so, these questions are kind of get an insight to help other agents and really what you're doing on a tech side. So what's your number one lead source right now?
Well, my number one lead source is definitely referrals. That is hands down. Over 15 years that I've been doing this, I've established so many great relationships with developers, especially because that's the sector that I kind of specialize in by doing new construction for so many years. So definitely building the relationships and being good to your clients and honest and trustworthy, that will be your number one lead source, hands down, regardless. And then my second, I would have to say, is social media. That brings me a tremendous amount of like traffic, as far as like people coming to my website, then inquiring about properties that they see on the website, and so on and so forth. So that's huge for me. And thirdly is Facebook ads. I tried to do it on my own. I then hired a marketing company. Somehow it wasn't working out because they were getting me leads in Texas, where obviously I'm not doing business out there. But I finally found someone that actually understood how to properly do Facebook ads. And believe it or not, it's huge. Like, you get a lot of like, miscellaneous BS that's not going to be useful, but you also get quite a bit that is actual like serious sellers, buyers, and things of that nature. And it's all about making sure you keep connecting with them, following up and everything to make sure that you don't lose contact and lose their interest in working with you.
Totally. And then are you sending any direct mail out to any specific farms or?
No, I've never done that. I've never done door knocking. I'm almost embarrassed to say that, but it's never something that I've actually done. And I think that for every realtor, you have to find your niche. For some people, it's hitting the phones religiously every morning from 8 to 11 or whatever the case may be, and just prospecting and everything else. For others, sometimes I go to a restaurant that I go to frequently, like probably 2 or 3 times a week. Every single time I go there, I pick up business. I'm like, Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Like, that's how it is for me at this restaurant. Every single time I go there, like, I literally pick up clients, whether it's investors, developers, flippers, whatever the case may be. Everybody's going to find a niche as to what works for them. Some people are not going to want to do the social media. Some people are just going to want to do the door knocking and the mailers, or whatever the case may be. So I think you just have to find what works best for you and what you feel comfortable most, because that's where you're really going to do your best at.
Yeah,
that's great.
Totally. What CRM are you currently using, if you don't mind us asking?
KV Core. I love it. It's phenomenal.
Awesome.
Great. That's great. Any time organization apps, or how do you keep yourself organized when it comes to your schedule? My
assistant is really the queen of keeping me on schedule and organized, because I'm terrible. I overcommit. I get phone calls all the time, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll meet you at 3 o'clock. And she's like, you can't meet them at 3 o'clock. You're doing this at 3 o'clock. So that's huge for me. It's just basically getting an assistant, or just managing as much as you can on your calendar and time blocking. That's something that I do mostly for my personal life. So like now I'm like getting, after this whole quarantine mess, I'm getting back into working out so I could have like that mental health and balance in my life. So that's something that I literally time block, and everybody knows, like, do not schedule anything for this time because I'm doing me at this hour.
Yeah.
Love
Last
it.
question for me is any new technology that you're testing out that's been something you brought into the business in the last maybe 3 months to 6 months?
Other than the Facebook ads, no, I haven't. I mean, I'm very like app into like different apps and whatever can help you manage and increase business and do better. But as of right now, I haven't been introduced to anything recently.
Cool.
Awesome.
No.
But I'll always take a recommendation. So if you guys got anything, I'm ready to hear it.
Oh man, there's a lot of stuff. There's so much stuff. It all depends on what you're looking for, right? If it's market data or predictive analytics, or ways to systematize your outbound marketing. I mean, we see so much of it, but like video, Loom, BombBomb, any of that stuff. Like if it's not integrated in your business and you're somebody that is at least comfortable in front of video, like my number one suggestion is to really just like quadruple down on video, and to your past clients, your SOI, your current clients, even like explaining paperwork or a deal like that.
Yeah.
We've seen tremendous success in that.
Yeah, BombBomb is something that I did incorporate about 6-7 months ago, and that goes out in my newsletter, to my prospects and my CRM. So that's something that I incorporated every so often into a newsletter. So I do like BombBomb. I agree with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, Loom.com would be like the next, I guess you could say, competitor level to what BombBomb is. And then YouTube is great because YouTube is owned by Google. So for search engine optimization, it's amazing. And it kind of ties into the next question. And a friend of mine that we're actually talking to and working with is Mike Sherrard, who's on the show. He's up in Canada. And his YouTube channel just hit 50,000 in 30 days.
Wow, for him.
So the opportunity to scale your business by using video, whether that's onboarding or giving your specific agents good ideas or strategies, to being an area expert and talking about the 8 best things about New Jersey to ideal first-time home buyer, or say maybe an investor for a buyer, or seller of an investment property. So those are also good things as well. But tying into that, so in your area, do you consider yourself an expert as far as in New Jersey? Is that something that you want to like do as far as like take over like your local market and be the #1 agent? Or is that something in your repertoire, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, I was born and partially raised in Newark. So when I started doing new construction sales in Newark, I literally was so like in a bubble because Newark is actually the largest city in the state, and there's 5 different sections. So I knew of like 2 sections. And then when I got into real estate and started focusing on the new construction sector, I was going into some of these other areas that I didn't even know existed. So my family was even like, you can't be going out there to sell houses. Like, you're going to get shot. Like, you're not going out there. But luckily, knock on wood, nothing ever happened. And I never felt worried or like unsafe for some reason. I just literally was like falling in love with the whole process of the new construction, of seeing a vacant lot, studying and learning plans, the process of new construction, and seeing now a beautiful home that someone's going to occupy or use as an investment for cash flow. So I would, over the years, I've sold so many homes in Newark that I definitely have been called the queen of Newark and new construction. But I've definitely, obviously, ventured off and do things in Hudson County and Passaic and Hudson, and so to me, it's like I don't want to like claim my fame to just one particular like town, but that's mostly like the majority of my business has been in Newark for sure. That's
awesome. And as you grow your team as well, and you have the buyer side, seller side specialist, then you can also be able to refer out. So you can move out from just that specific area. So I love that. Last couple questions, kind of like a secret weapon or something you can leave to like, our listeners and viewers. Is there something like you could say like, hey, like, this is what I've done. I doubled down on it, and it's just been amazing. I know you said referrals and social media, but is there anything that you did that you're just like, wow, like this thing works, or whatever it was, an ad that you ran, a post that you did, a referral program? Was there anything that you can let us know about for our listeners and viewers?
I definitely believe in the like art of prospecting, like getting on the phone and talking to someone and connecting with them, and just not being a conversation about like, do you want to list? Do you want to sell? Do you want to buy? Like that mentality of that sales pitch and very scripted conversation, to me, doesn't work. It works better for me when I'm like that person where I'm making a human connection and I'm talking to them and I'm getting to find out that, their husband just got over COVID and this is what's going on and so on and so forth. That's what really like builds the relationship and brings me the business. So for me, it's about relationships and prospecting and really making those connections and spending the time to do that.
I love it. Someone that came to mind that was also on our show was Ricky. Ricky.
Yeah, he's in our team. Yeah.
Yeah, he's big on calls, man. I'll tell you what. So
he's super disciplined. I aspire to be like Rick.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of good people in that EXP's like platform and system, and we look at it all, and we kind of make generalizations about different brokerages.
I know. There's a joke about every single one of us.
No, but we've been blessed, so it's good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Very good stuff.
So we're pretty much at the end of the show. We'd love to let the floor be open to you. So is there anything that you would like to tell our listeners and viewers, whether it is how to follow you, find you, or something, a project you're working on?
Oh, gosh. Well, definitely follow me on Instagram at Carlie Real Estate, and Carlie Real Estate on my Facebook, same thing. So I'm very into just building my team and expanding to other counties in New Jersey by having specialized agents for different counties. So we're excited about what's to come. We have a lot of good things in the works. There's some people that are coming on board that I can't even announce yet because, they're in the process of doing whatever they need to do. So I'm excited. It's really I think 2021 is going to be a phenomenal year. And hopefully the country will settle down a little bit to allow people to feel more comfortable in doing what they need to do.
Yes, definitely.
I just followed you, so.
Thank you. I'll follow back.
Definitely check her out. I have the Instagram behind me. Definitely has some really good content out there and always on your stories, which is great. So you kind of always know what's going on, what's happening. I'm going to stay tuned too because I want to find out who are going to be the new individuals on your team. So thank you so much, Dan, for co-hosting. I appreciate it.
Great to meet you, Carlie.
Great to meet you. It's been fun. I loved it.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Carlie, for being a part of the show. As it's our intention, we want to give back to this real estate community and have someone take something from today's episodes to apply to their business to have more massive success. So thank you.
You guys are awesome. I loved it.
And all of our listeners and viewers, and we will see you on the next one. Hope you found value. If you liked the episode, give it a thumbs up. Comment below with what you learned. And if you go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll be notified for new podcast episodes coming out. Now, I want to go ahead and show you, if you see here on your screen, you can click join our Facebook group page, and you can go ahead and be a member of our community page. We love to be able to share what type of technology you're using on this page. And also, if you want to go ahead and do some networking all across the country, you can go ahead and network on this Facebook group page. If you're a real estate professional, focus on a specific niche, whether it's a buyer specific type, seller specific type, or a specific area. We would love to hear your story and how are you growing and scaling your business using technology to focus on that demographic. And if you're a technology owner, have a technology you want to share, and you want to be featured on Real Estate vs. Technology, the podcast, all you have to go ahead and do is send us an email at re-vs-tech-talk@gmail.com, and we'll see you on the next one.